I say hang in there for a minute and we'll see what happens in a couple minutes.
Can I say a few words?
Please.
My name is David Malmo Levine. I've been a cannabis activist in Vancouver for about the last 20 years. It is my strong conviction that hemp ethanol could replace all the fossil fuel use for fueling up any oil or gas-based car. Be 5 times cheaper at the pump. A $500 conversion kit would turn any car into a hemp ethanol powered car. There'd be no more oil wars because hemp grows pretty much in every country on earth. There'd be no more oil spills because a hemp ethanol spill would just evaporate. There'd be no more climate destabilization because hemp takes the CO2 out. It's a carbon sequestration, carbon sink, and it would reverse the greenhouse effect. And the one reason why we're not using hemp ethanol is because oil companies made hemp illegal back about 100 years ago, and oil companies rule the world. But if you look at the history of civil disobedience, it's the only way anything has ever changed ever. The system is not designed to change naturally. You got to break the rules sometimes. And the most effective way to break the rules is to do it in a fun and exciting but peaceful way and make other people think, wow, that's a lot better than just watching my planet die and doing nothing about it. I've been arrested in the pot activist community about 2 dozen times. I've lost track, but I've never regretted one arrest. I've always felt most alive when I was voting, as Thoreau said, with my entire being, not just with a little X on a piece of paper every 4 to 6 years. So I encourage you, if you can get arrested, do get arrested. Because really the only punishment is not going into the United States, and I've been able to live with myself not going into the United States for a long time now.
Can I just add, because it's a different kind of charge, and I think we should actually let people know that. Can I just,
yeah?
Thanks, David. Okay,
thank you.
Which one is this working out this way? Hello? No. Okay. So this is a court injunction that people are being arrested under. So people who are arrested are getting charged with civil contempt of court, which is different than a trespass charge or a mischief charge under the criminal code. It carries it can carry between 0 to 2 years. I've never known anybody who's gotten 2 years. I have known grandmothers during the Clackwood days who refused to sign their order and stayed in jail for 3 months. But it's not, it has a different consequence, although it could have serious consequences. And that's why I want people to understand that what Kinder Morgan did was a subversion of what should be the proper process. People could get arrested up here for trespass or mischief. But instead, and in that situation, if you're arrested under the criminal code, you can go, you can get a lawyer and defend yourself under the full range of options under the criminal code, full defense. But under a civil contempt of court charge, the only thing that you will be asked if you go to court is, did you know there was an injunction? Did you disobey it? And if so, then you were illegally breaking an injunction. So you can't argue anything about climate change or the reasons why you were there. That's fine. This is civil disobedience, and we know that there will be consequences to committing civil disobedience. Totally fine. Just understand that there are. The other thing is, I've been arrested, not this time, but in times past, for civil disobedience for breaking a court injunction. My beef was actually with the companies, not with the courts. I didn't wish to actually be in contempt of court. I wished to be in contempt of the company and unsustainable practices, but I was forced into a situation where the courts made me break the injunction as the means of doing civil disobedience when I chose to. But I have traveled. I have traveled all over the world since then. It's a civil charge under civil code. not a criminal charge under the criminal code.
Valerie, can I ask you a question? Because I've been reading about this, and it seemed to me that it was actually criminal contempt, not civil contempt, that we would be charged with.
Right. Criminal contempt of court is simply when you flagrantly and publicly disobey a court order. It doesn't mean it changes from being contempt of court under the criminal code. So criminal contempt of court is if you know there is a court injunction, the judge said do not do this, and you crossed the line and disobeyed the judge's injunction anyhow.
Which is the case here.
And so, yes, that is the case. And so it's elevated to criminal contempt of court, which is still under the civil code. It means that you can possibly face a stiffer penalty, but that penalty is still within that same realm. That is what all of the arrestees in Clayoquot Sound were arrested for, were charged with criminal contempt of court. It started out as a civil charge and then was moved up to criminal contempt of court. And all of those people, like myself, have been able to travel to the United States, Japan, Turkey, Europe, and everywhere, and it's never showed up. Even when taken aside for going to other protests and questioned, and my passport taken and run, I still was able to go through. So for those of you who are wondering, that's been my experience. Anybody can have a different experience, but that has been the experience of mine and every other person I know who was arrested 20 years ago in Clayoquot Sound.
So the majority of people here have been civil contempt of court, but there's been a few that have been criminal contempt of court. What's the difference?
The elevation of the charge from civil contempt to criminal contempt is based on whether the judge perceives it as being public and flagrant. That is, did you get arrested disobeying an injunction in a public manner where the judge's order is publicly and flagrantly denied force. So that's anybody could start out with a civil charge, and when they get into court, it can be elevated to a criminal contempt of court charge. Even when it is criminal contempt of court, it is still under the civil code of law, not under the criminal code.
So it's not, it doesn't go on you don't get a criminal record.
You don't have a criminal record. That's right.
You don't have a criminal record, but your name is on a list for border guards.
I don't know if it's on a list for border guards. Mine has never actually popped up when my passport has been scanned. Maybe I've just been lucky. But in 20 years of crossing the border every 2 months, never showed up. Okay? Trying to think other things. I think it would be best, rather than me using the megaphone, if those people who want to know a little bit more about what's going to happen, actually, maybe I can use a megaphone, a little bit more about what's going to happen when you get up there, and the people are going to prepare to be arrested. There is a line. Who's been here before? Who's been up there before? Okay, so a number of you have never been up there. So when, at the top of the mountain, Kinder Morgan has a drill rig that they pulled in a few days ago, and the police have cordoned off an area around the drill rig with the yellow police tape. And if you are on this side, this is sorry, ridiculous technology. It's really like the oldest technology going, and I can't manage it. So when you go up the hill, you are legally allowed to stand in witness and support, to witness what is going on, support anybody who's prepared to be arrested, or simply be there to show your disapproval of Kinder Morgan's surveying activities in a park that Burnaby has said they don't want violated with an industrial activity. Okay? You're legally allowed to do that. However, the moment that you cross over that police line, the tape is clearly marked there. Once you cross that line, you risk arrest. Right? There's no yes, maybe, no, maybe so. It's just you are on one side of the line or you are on the other side of the line. Don't bother trying to negotiate with the police. They have been given their orders. They are simply doing their job. These people, some of them may actually agree with you in private, but they have a mortgage to pay and a job that they have agreed to do. There are laws that we may like them to enforce and others we wish they didn't, but they have a job which they are going to do, and our job is to make sure that we don't escalate into a volatile situation. We're respectful people, we're peaceful people. We are people here who are here because of Kinder Morgan, and our beef is not with the police. Our beef is with Kinder Morgan and with the federal government that has allowed them to drill survey holes in a park before there's even a permit to build a pipeline.
When you're at the line, the police, it's up to you to get arrested. And the police don't want to arrest you, so they'll try and not let you cross that line. So there's a point where you've got to take that positive step, I would call it that, and actually physically cross the line. But that's your moment and your choice, and you can do that as you see fit. And you can make a statement, you can stand there and say what's on your mind and why you're doing this. It's completely your moment before you do that. And I would like to ask that when we're there, the people that are considering acting on their convictions today the people who are going to act on their convictions today are really the ones who should be front and center. So, let them have the front of the line and let them say their piece before they take their action, okay? It's a nice, respectful thing to do for them.